Howdy, y'all. Welcome to part 18 of Kentucky Route Zero. My name is Laird. Let's continue. End night with a bit right at the beginning. Thank you. Will's asleep in the room. Busy night. There he is again, sleeping. Where do I know him from? It's gonna drive me up the wall. Does he work at the university? Oh, that sounds familiar. Yeah, I think he might have worked there a long time ago. Maybe when I was an undergrad. Ah, the Paleolithic era. I thought he looked a bit rugged. That's right, Jen. I went to college during the Stone Age. What was your major? Fire. How long were you with a professor? Maybe staff? It's been so long sometimes. Sometimes I wish I'd just barreled through like you did instead of taking time off before grad school. Sure that was the right thing to do at the time. Yeah. Were the only thing. I was such a mess. Did I ever tell you about that? Boyfriend died suddenly in my last year of college. Poor thing. It's okay. It was a really long time ago. Yeah, it shook me up real bad back then. He was studying astronomy. We were both really into experimental music. Took a few art classes together. So sad. How. Sorry, never mind. No, it's okay. That's the thing, actually. I mean, what shook me up about it? It's just this random accident that never should have happened. It's so sudden you never could have seen it coming. Back home visiting his parents, then he fell off a roof. Wait, his name started with a C. Conway talks about him. He was, worked on roofing with him. He was drunk, couldn't go to work that day. So, Ira and Lisette's kid, I think it was, went to work instead and he fell off the roof. Darn, I know what you mean. You can't predict that kind of, what did you call it? Freak accident kind of thing? My psychiatrist said that's why I'm such a pessimist. Well, I think you're remarkably upbeat, all things considered. I mean, you know that thing with your boyfriend and the roof, but also, what happened to the TV station? Acts of God. You think? No, I mean, that's what you call it. That's what you say when it's nobody's fault. Speaking of the TV station, we were saying something earlier about that other Marquez girl. Oh, right. I was talking about Weaver. And what exactly happened with her? You said she left on weird terms? Yes, well, so actually, she just kind of stopped showing up. That was pretty normal. It was all volunteers, right? Community television. Yeah, people didn't really give much advance notice. They just got bored and drifted away. More like an art project than a job for most people. Weaver Marquez helped manage the archives, like filing and sorting old tapes of broadcast. I think she was pretty smart. She probably could have been more help fixing equipment or something, but she seemed content just to organize tapes. Nobody ever talked to her much, so when she left, no big deal. But a few months later, we started getting these bizarre interventions. Please consider a particular moment earlier in the day or evening. Write down where you were and what you were doing and who else was present. I was in my aunt and uncle's house with a friendly old man I just met. I fixed a TV set. For the remainder of this test, we will refer to that moment as the episode. Someone would be doing a show in the normal time slot, and then suddenly the feed would cut. So we broadcasted, but our signal was totally jammed. Oh, like interference? I mean, total blackout. Then this video would come on, clearly shot in our studio at some point. It was her, Weaver Marquez. She'd be standing in the middle of the studio, facing the camera. It's a bit fuzzy in my memory, but I do remember the sound, this awful hum. Like, that's how she did it. That was how she did it. She made a hum so sinister it drove our signal into hiding. As you read the first marked passage, an excerpt from Door Jam Design, Repair and Cleaning by R. Groves, please take note of any new details you recall from the episode and at what point in the text they are recalled to you. The author used a strange metaphor I hadn't heard before. Cleaner than a stopped clock, it reminded me of the strange mold that accumulated in the TV. Like the strange mold on Xanadu? As we're getting through this, I'm starting to make the connections. Then there were these on-screen captions, exactly the same every time. I don't remember what they said, something creepy. Wow. Had a little title maker at the station, but it was a different font. I guess she recorded it at WEVP and then took it somewhere else to add the captions. I don't know. We all did a lot of speculating about how she made the video. Why she made the video. Yeah, why not just broadcast it normally? It was community television, right? Couldn't be any worse than Naked Banjo Guy. Exactly. Some people thought it was a protest or something, but I know she didn't have anything against the station. To me, it felt urgent. Like, she would have done her broadcast through proper channels, but something came up. A crisis or something. The second marked passage is a poem by In Shield called Three Views Through a Door. As you read this passage, please write down any new details you recall from the episode. When I read the stanza about walking through the door into the house, I remembered how dead that farmhouse felt tonight. Like, nothing had ever lived there. So yeah, it is just one night. It's one long night. How often did it happen? A lot. Dozens of times. It went on for years. Even though asking the police to look into it, but it's so hard to locate a pirate signal. I mean, come from any direction, you know? It's all just waves. I love the effect on the word waves. Exactly. Question. The third marked passage is a reproduction of A Caller's Guide to Etiquette of Closed Doors. Pamphlet published anonymously sometime in the 19th century. Again, write down any details of the episode that called to you while reading this text. The text said something about how long to wait. Not to wait too long at a closed door. I need to see this through. Weaver's video showed up again, right before the flood actually. I think it might have been the last thing we ever broadcast. Oh look, can you read the date? Darn, I can't read it either. It may not have even been current. I remember for a while we had a calendar up that was like years behind. I think Daryl liked the picture. What was it? Best friends. Every month there was a different pair of animals that were friends. That's adorable. I think I'm gonna be sick. You don't remember that? That weird intern brought it from home. What was his name? Who? Oh, you remember? He was always like, we would make fun of him for... He's almost completely gone from my brain. So many interns coming and going then, I guess. I didn't even bother remembering their names. Wonder who was working back when this was recorded. Is there a tape of the monitoring room? Yeah, here it is. Oh, before we check that out, did she flip the calendar forward or backwards? Forward. Oh, weird. They usually flip it backwards. There she goes. Amy, wait, do you think she followed them out? Oh, well, here's the last extended monitoring tape from the dock when they left. See? Told you he was one of those distillery guys. I guess you were right. The other guys came to pick him up for work, maybe? I don't like how they all hang out together. It's creepy. We hang out together and work together. Yeah, but it's not. They're like more than coworkers. I don't know. Just get this awful feeling whenever I see them. Like, I knew them once, but not anymore. Like, they make up a dead person to look like an old photograph of themselves. Sort of familiar, sort of strange. Yeah, exactly. There ought to be a word for that. Bye, kitty. They look nice enough people. I'm sure she's very happy with them. Yeah. So, this has been a bit of a memory trip for you, huh? Bet you didn't expect these old tapes to stir up much. How does it feel for those people to come up again? Weaver Marquez, Wise Will, and what was your boyfriend's name? The one who died in college? Might I say that's mighty insensitive. Charlie, yeah, kind of a bittersweet experience actually, like looking at photographs of people who died or moved away. People that are gone. Gone, but not forgotten. No, not forgotten. You're right. No, I will say to this game's pacing. I was worried that section was about to overstay its welcome, and soon as I started thinking that, it was wrapping up. It's impressive. Look at those easels and tables on the beach over there. They call it a open air gallery, or probably something more upscale like a al fresco galleria. They say it's a popular design in foreign cities like Paris and New York. That may be true. I like New York being foreign. The appeal is clear enough, I guess. Anyone can wander in and out. Aren't any walls or doors, no roof either, just kind of this thin cloth membrane. Not quite a sheet or a tarp, but more like a drape of rolled out spider web. Looking like it might bunch up and dissolve if ever got rained on. No concern down here for rain. Everybody thinks they're inside just because they can't see the sky, but it's a microclimate down here. It surely does rain. Right now, they're exhibiting some intimate photographs of small town life. The pictures all sort of run together. After looking at them all in a row, it's hard to come away with any specific memories of people or faces. You just kind of get a fuzzy afterimage, the warm residue of a community. No individual, meaningful experience except with a bit of contrast or shading. Reviews have been good. It's a popular show. Probably because of its relevance, the town depicted in these photos was very recently flattened to make room for a big museum project. The museum from the beginning, I think, of Act 2, where all the people are living inside of it. I took a nap. Act 4, Scene 6. The Mucky Mammoth. Hey, just a quick one here. I'm gonna sure to do some mushroom hunting. Little Island is my favorite spot, and I figured we're already running late. What's one more unscheduled stop? Just need to find Will and get him up here to keep an eye on things, you know. I bet he's asleep. Could you run down and wake him up for me? Bunks are down the lower level, right next to the map room. Thanks. The visual transitions in this game are something I won't get over how stunning they can be. I like the little bugs down there. A recorded lecture plays from a tape machine next to Will's bunk. It even hinted that he had in mind design for this device as recorded in Diary and Sundry Observations. Why should personalities in another existence or sphere waste their time working a little triangular piece of wood over a board with certain letterings on it? The whole business seems so childish to me. If we are to make any real progress in psychic investigations, we must do it with scientific apparatus. Again, for Edison, a technical solution to every problem. He goes on to suggest the parameters of the apparatus and, yes, a question in the back, James? Yes, this idea of personalities lingering after death does appear to be in conflict with Edison's theory about what he called life units, the subatomic entities that animate matter and then scatter to other configurations when a person passes on. But, given Edison's emphasis on memory and cognition, remember, about the inventor of the phonograph, his colorful description of the swarm of interchangeable drone-like, Edison even uses the word proletarian life units animating the human word. His theory natural posits that any individual life unit possesses its own some fragment of memory. So according to Edison, when life units recombine from, say, a soldier into, say, a flower, we may be able to use some apparatus to coax out from the flower memories of war. Tape stops. Will wakes up. Well, hello, small man. You caught me in my pre-dawn nap. I try to sleep in little nibbles when I can. It maximizes my time in the threshold states. What? Oh, you know, the half asleep, half awake, in between places. Play these old tapes recorded during my little nibble nap. Lectures during my nibble naps to absorb the information more easily. It's pretty effective. I wish I could do everything half asleep. Can't say I learned very much just now. I may have been too busy dreaming of vivid narcotic fantasia aboard the... Those are always the quickest to dissipate. Better tell you about it now before the spell is broken. Will takes a deep breath, focusing on the task of recalling his dream. I was small, not a child, an animal maybe. Patrolled the corridors of a great iron ship, searching for scraps and ice, I think, and crying, always a weak and mournful mew. Other crewmen slumped in odd corners or lay drunk on the deck. The hull smelled of shame, defeat, and rot-gut corn whiskey. They dumped artillery into the water and tore their flags into cloth scraps, made handkerchiefs to bury their sobbing faces. They drifted on Lake Lethe, drinking cold black water. Eyeless fish, raw. When at last they ran out of cooking fuel, they seemed in their despair to forget even language. After an interval of years, the ship crossed the threshold into absolute silence. Silence except for my hopeless, whimpering cry. Anyway, that's all I remember. Lately, I never remember my dreams. Probably for the best. The images of dreams are often wasted on the waking. Well, I've got a stew to start, and you may want to hurry back above deck. I believe we're about to pass the bat sanctuary, and that's quite a thing to see. Kate came back from a mushroom hunting excursion with a small basket of oddly colored caps and stems. No doubt delicious to a morsel. Of course, she intended to use many of them in her medical practice to ease the pain, nausea, and anxiety of pregnant women, but I can usually rely on my charms to snare a bite or two. I have no preferences when it comes to mushrooms, by which I mean I treat them all interchangeably. I prefer not to know their names or quality before I cook them up and eat them. It's useless after all. They escape your erudition, as the fella says. It's a good mushroom hunting island, I guess. Plenty of damp, and they got the cypress trees there to grow on. Of course, they're not indigenous, the cypress trees, I mean. Everyone down here seems to agree they were planted as some kind of marker or memorial. Most people tell you they got a distant relation or acquaintance who helped dig a hole or water a seedling. Nobody remembers what it was all for, and nobody left a plaque or anything. It's a shame. Looks like it must have been a lot of work. Well, at least we have the trees. And the mushrooms. Shannon and her friends set out in the dinghy to deliver a package at the telephone exchange. Act 4, Scene 7. Echo River Central Exchange. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as the tugboat can go. Noise and lights disturb the bats. I usually send Will, but he's up to his elbows in mammoth grease right now, so You'll pass through the Bat Sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or excuse me, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. They changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just the other side of the Bat Sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Salmonida for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in. Just before the Bat Sanctuary. I always recommend people stop and take a look at it, really. Sort of, I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Okay, bye. Yeah, that's a weird little statue, alright. We claim these helmets in the name of the folks who wore them and placed them here in their memory. But also with a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who bought up our old mine, traded our brothers and sisters' safeties for a little more yield. It only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean. Full of water, too, and swept through hidden tunnels into some awful cave we'll never find. So we guessed the water buried them for us, so let this here be the marker for their grave. And if any son of a gun from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just try it and see what will happen. Hey, Elkhorn. That's the mine we met in. Your folks, worked. Looks like it's been here a while. Sure as heck wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote it's still that angry? I don't think you ever forget anger like that. No, I guess you probably don't. This probably stirs up, how do you... The other miners made this, but it should have been the power company. It's their fault. Yeah, I see what you mean there. The memorial should be kind of an apology. Sorry we didn't do better by you. What? You looking like I'm crazy. Are you feeling okay? Oh, sure, it doesn't hurt anymore. My leg, it's just kind of numb, like it's not there. Shoulder too, actually. It's a old one, though, from an accident. Lucky I just had some nerve damage there. It probably should have been a lot worse. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation. It's like the rest of us. One of them said to me earlier they could even help me take care of these medical bills for my leg, you know? Get it all together on a plan. Consolidate it. When did he talk to you about that? Oh, they're around. Pretty much everywhere you look on this river. You really hadn't noticed? Anyway, I have a feeling it'll all work out. Even for me? Hey, why not? Seems like we're getting pretty close to finding your cousin, right? And besides that, you're young and smart. Plenty of time to bounce back from whatever. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira, Set's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much. Somehow, Liz got it into her mind that he would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did. Maybe so his ghost could hold it over. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery. And now that the antique shop is closing up, got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. Sure, I could keep an eye on it for you till you get it straightened out. Okay, sounds. Visitors to the Echo River Nomadic Riverbat Artificial Hibernarium and Sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white nose syndrome. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. Nomadic river bat is confused by light. If you are using any lantern or artificial light source, be aware that it may attract and confuse bats. If you're approached by bats, do not panic, relax, stop your vehicle, switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Wonder if my neighbor still has the bat house in the back of their yard. They used to have one of those, like, on this first tree on the left. The little, like, house with the slit in it. Used to have one of those. 3 neighbors back had it. Bat fact. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do all the time. Bats talk in extremely high-frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of ultrasonic clicks by comparing the very subtle differences in time these echoes take to come back. Differences of just millionths of a second. Bats are able to picture their environments with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, so it still needs to avoid running into anything. So bats keep clicking away even while they munch on a snack. Maybe poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. I wonder how the other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. Sometimes it's hard to know with people too. Oh yeah, like, how about this weather? Guess there are layers to it, right? Sometimes you just need to get the other person talking so you can check their body language or hear what their voice sounds like. Find out if they're friendly, angry, or drunk. Bat fact. Nomadic river bats' natural diet mostly consists of moths and other small insects that breed along the river. Here at the artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary, we use a combination of potentially contaminant-bearing insects, replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoth, which we call the little gray nothing moth. Maybe thinking that the other moths and insects the nomadic river bat would have been eating are very much relieved that their natural predator has found another food source. Not so. We install netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the nomadic river bat normally hunts to balance their escape food chain. The eating moths isn't the only systemic contribution the bats make. They also produce a potent fertilizer in the form of guano that helps the plant life thrive along the Echo River, the shores of Lake Lethe. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on subterranean agriculture, We collect that precious guano here at the Hibernaculum and manually distribute it throughout the caves. It's a full-time job. Sounds like a lot of work. It's all fake, except for the bats. Yeah, I guess so. Reminds you of that guy Donald and his crew down there with the computer. Kind of bothers me, like they're tricking the bats. Yeah, in this case, I think it's about survival. That's the bottom line. What's the difference? Folks in the mine, you said they used to buy stuff, fans, canaries, all those little trinkets make it bearable. There's a lot of stuff down there. It feels cluttered but human. I mean, all people need is enough to pretend they're home, and we can make it anywhere. You get kind of philosophical when you're drinking. Anyone ever tell you that? Yeah. Yes, I do. No, this is nothing. I used to have this drinking buddy who would get loaded. Tell me the weirdest riddles, like, which is more musical? A truck passing by a factory, or a truck passing by a music school? Count your blessings. I wonder if that's one of our umbrellas from earlier when we got picked up by Julian. There's the other one. But nose syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the fungal growth, which appears on bats' faces and wings, irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation, venture outside, depleting stored energy they may need to survive through the winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly and is highly fatal. This way, white nose syndrome is drawn to comparisons to colony collapse disorder as suffered by bees. White nose syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Honeybees and the nomadic riverbat be two more lost species wiped out in a geological blink and forgotten to natural history. It's possible that the cure won't be identified in time, so the sanctity of this artificial hibernaculum is our best hope of preserving them. As you leave the Echo River Nomadic Riverbat Hibernaculum and Sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of hitchhikers. I like to notice that we've got 2 hitchhikers of our own following us on this boat. Ah, it's a tunnel. We reached the end of the sanctuary. Now we're at the power plant. Well, that'll be the end of this portion. Quickly say thank y'all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.